Okay, this is part 2 of the mini playlist on Mediterraneans and their subraces. And this is about what Kuhn calls the Irano-Afghan race, which we generally refer to as Iranids. So they are a Mediterranean branch who show certain features like great facial length, great prominence of the nasal apparatus, and they also, in some parts of the stock, show very great cranial vault. That's a great height of the skull. Right, so this first fellow here, he's a Lur from Luristan in Persia, and it states that he's a good example of the type because of his great nasal prominence. Exaggerated degree. He actually has a slightly receding chin, but the mandible is deep. You can see these are characteristics that are often called Dinara-sized, but this guy is a Mediterranean. He's long-skulled. He's not Dinara-sized in the sense of brachycephalization. Okay, so here we have a fellow who's actually a Kurd, a Baghdadi Kurd. He's of the same type, but less exaggeratedly so. So he's a little bit more typically Mediterranean, a little bit less specifically Iranid. And then here we move on to a painting, and this is just a painting that shows the Iranid facial structure very well, though we can't know the exact dimensions of this fellow's skull. He's not one of the ones that was measured. Moving on here, we've got an Eastern Afghan from the Mohmand tribe, and he says that the Afridis and the Mohmand are of this racial type, the same racial type as those that we've just shown towards the west of Persia. He comments that he might well be a brother of the Luri shown first. Now we move on to some examples of what might be called Irano-Nordoid, because they approach the corded dimensions. The corded race was the Nordoid race that invaded Europe and formed the Nordoid races. So these fellows have high and narrow vaults. So this guy here is an Afghan, the son of a nomadic chief. And then this fellow is a tribesman, actually from northeastern Syria, from the desert there. And again, he has a high cranial vault. So you can see that his skull is both long and high. And then here we have an Afridi, the other tribe he mentioned from Afghanistan. So this is jumping back to the other side of Persia, and this fellow has, again, the high and narrow corded-like skull. He actually mentions that this one approaches the corded craniometrics. He's almost identical to their craniometrics. And then lastly, we come to another portrait, another painting, and this one, he comments, is of this high-vaulted branch of the Irano-Afghan race that approaches the corded type.